Hello, everybody. Coming to you from the Great White North again. I am Scott.
And hello, this is Andy coming to you from Studio 13, as usual, here in the United Kingdom.
Good to see you again, Andy. Welcome, everybody, to the Tea and Timbits podcast. We talk about global perspectives on business development to help you prosper. Today, we are going to talk about building the offer. And before we get into that, it is your turn to catch us up on what's been going on in your business world lately, Andy.
Thank you very much, Scott. I've been looking forward to sharing this with our listeners. Actually, this was another positive story from me. I'm pleased to have slightly turned it around recently with some positive experiences, and this one was a very good reflection that came out of the blue. This situation was that we were in a discussion with a new company, and when I say we, it was me and a sales representative from one of my customers, and it was meeting with a new prospect and having a discussion, and essentially they got a bit of pushback, and it was quite a challenging objection that they received. And the story is essentially that this sales guy just very, very calmly jumped on it in a good way, and he allowed the prospect to fully express themselves about the thing they were rejecting about. I'm trying to be as vague as possible here without revealing too much, but they'll know who they are when they listen. But this was really good. And then not only did he listen, he then waited until they'd finished and then asked some questions about it to fully understand the objection and to really clarify what it was that they meant and the context of it and so on. Mm-hmm. And then he took the time to actually properly respond to all of the things that had come up there, not necessarily solving a problem, but properly respond to it, and then didn't stop there, then followed up and asked if they were happy with the and satisfied with the response that he had given. And it was just so nice to see him working through this sort of essentially a 4 or 5 step process there, where he listened, he understood, he responded, and then he followed up. And it was like, yes, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I think I love that story. It's so easy to just get defensive and start to manage objection and rebut the situation.
Or just jump straight to answering it. You hear the objection, you jump straight to answering that first one, and rather than uncovering the layers, uncovering what's leading to that, what's contributed to that understanding of that or the misunderstanding. It was fantastic. I don't want to go too much more into detail on that one, but it was very refreshing, and I wanted to share it with the listeners. Please, build yourself a 3 or 4 step process, follow it, and it will be really, really valuable to you when you meet these scenarios in the future.
Well, I think what I like about that is sometimes we know to do something like that, but it gets executed in a way that does not come through with sincerity. And I think if you can practice that and even think about the fact that there's a framework for it, you can help yourself. So that's why I like that story.
100%. Yeah, very good.
So we're going to talk about building the offer today. So what do you want people to get out of this conversation?
Well, this is actually something I was working on myself quite recently, and doing a bit of a redesign of the business and revamping it. And part of that process was really thinking through what it is that we're actually offering to the market and to our customers. And that then made me think that there should be a structure to this. There should be a framework that we're working towards for this, and there is, and I wanted to share that because I think it's very important that we're very clear on our offer, that we think about it, we think about all of the steps, and we consider all of the elements of it when we're building our offer and when we're going into a customer and when we're talking to a customer. So we're very clear what we address, how we address it, who we address it with, and so on.
So for my own benefit here, in terms of having this conversation together, let me get a little bit of clarity or ask a clarifying question of you. So when I hear building the offer, there's a few things that kind of, I think, get conflated in my mind. There is there's building the offer, and there's presenting the offer, and then there's managing the sales process. And I think those are three different things. So if I'll tell you what my understanding is, and then you tell me if it aligns with you. So there's building the offer, which is independent of an actual opportunity. It is
Yes,
just
that's correct.
knowing what it is that you're going to present, the services that you're going to deliver, the way that you're going to do it, and being very intentional about defining that for your business. There is presenting the offer, which is how you communicate that and what you need in order to be able to support it all. And then there's the process that you go through in order to engage with a prospect who might need that offer.
Yeah.
So because some people might think it's just the final step of the process. It's just the paper that you put the deal on. That's the offer. So how did I do in terms of, and by the way, people listening, we put zero prep into this conversation. So how did I do in terms of defining what I think that is relative to what you were about to talk about?
You did very well because
I wasn't sure where you're going.
because what you did is you made it very clear that there are three elements to the offer, and that is step one is the building of the offer. Step two is how you present it, and then step three is how you follow up on it and deliver it. And what we're focusing on today is that first step, not the last step, not the actually presenting it, not delivering it or anything like that. This is the very, very beginning of building the entire framework that your offer is. This is essentially the foundation of your business, what you're actually selling.
Yeah.
So
take us through what's important to have in that package of the offer that you're going to put together.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're coming back to the story there. It's key about having some steps in the process and clearly focusing on each one of those steps before you move on to the next one. But the first and most important step is, what is it? What is it that you're actually offering? What is it that you're doing? What is it that you're going to be delivering or selling or presenting or producing or helping someone with?
And
so what is it that you actually do?
And
That's
the value, in my mind, the value of having that is that it is, especially in a service-based business, it is then so easy for you to adapt to what the client needs. And so by defining first what you do, it helps you avoid the trap of signing up for work that's not a good fit.
But it's also important to be able to articulate for yourself. I mean, because sometimes you're so used to selling a particular product to a certain market, and you're comfortable with that you don't necessarily think about what actually it is. Why are you actually doing that? And that sort of leads me on to the next step, really, because step one is what is it? And step two is, who is it for? Who is your ideal client? Who are you providing the service to? What is it that you're doing for them? And so therefore step three is, what does it actually do for them? So step one, what is it? Step two, who is it for? Step three, what does it do for them?
Right.
Those are the first three things that before you get anywhere else, before you dig into anything else, those are the three that you need to have in place and you need to be very, very clear of. The other good thing about doing this exercise that's just sprung to my mind is that when you do this, it then allows you to create an awful lot of marketing collateral that you can then use to attract a lot of businesses, but also put into your sales story and communicate with customers. When someone says to you, what do? You can tell them because because you've just done that exercise. You understand what you do, who you do it for, and what the benefit and value is. And that's the absolute foundation to every sales story, is those three elements.
And what I think is worth pointing out at this point is that building the offer and going through those three steps, what is it, who's it for, whatnot, is not the way that you would then present it. You don't present it in that order. You do all your discovering, you make sure that it fits the client, and it's the how are we going, and what is the impact on you, and then it works its way backwards to, and clearly this stuff we do will help you with that problem. Because I think a lot of classic mistakes are like, features and benefits, and here's what we do, and isn't it great? But a much more modern way, and I'm sure everybody
Yeah.
who's listening does it this way, is then to say, who are you and what's your business situation, and let's explore that to make sure that there's alignment with what we do, and whether that can help you. So did you have anything else to echo? I've got one more thing to add into that construction of the offer. Were there any more thoughts that you had?
Yeah, there are some other steps, but those are more administrative steps because those more contribute to your organizational structure. And I think in the context of business development, those first three steps, if you can do that, that's the key. I mean, looking then at the next steps, which are focused on, what are the terms of the agreements that you'll have, what are the
Right.
prerequisites that you expect from an ideal client, and what are the steps that you will do towards delivery. Those things come afterwards, because
Yeah.
the key focus for business development people at any level is to fully understand those first three steps, because that is the foundation of your sales story. That is everything that you will be doing to generate new business, new leads. And every time someone says to you, what do you do?
Yeah, no,
You will
I'm
use
glad
those
you added that on, because sure, the terms of how you're going to deliver it are critical, and you need to know sort of the line in the sand that you are starting from, and then sort of what are the prerequisites? What do you have to see there to know that there's going to be success if we do get involved with each other? I'm going to add the step that we include in the explanation of the offer, which is not just what do we do, but how do we do what we do? Because we have found that it is almost more critical to ensure there's alignment with the process that we go through to deliver the service that we provide. And I think this works for many products as well. If you don't like how we work, you're not going to like what we're working on. And so part of the offer is being really clear about articulating that when the time is right as well.
And sticking on the steps as we have introduced in this discussion today, would you then have like a structure where it's sort of 2 or 3 steps that you would say, these are the steps towards success, and these are the actions that we would take or that you would need to take in order to succeed with our product and service? Or how would you approach it?
It's the very first thing we talk about. It is the very first, like when we're we when we're into a qualified opportunity and we're making sure that there's alignment between what the client needs and what we can do. There has to be two. We have to check 2 boxes. Can we do the work that you need done, and can we do it the way that works for you? Does our method work for you? And as long as that's true, and so we communicate that, we're like, here's what we do, but here's also how we do it, and that's upfront and out of the way. And then when we're presenting the offer, we do it in the framework of that process. So when we're quoting and when we're explaining the work that's going to get done, it is in these buckets that represent the process that we follow as well. So then it's very clear going forward that that's what you can expect.
Fantastic. Do you as part of that offer then, do you offer any guarantees or anything like that?
No, we don't.
No.
And that's actually probably a conversation for another time. We feel that there's in the work that we do, it's very hands-on, it's very collaborative, it's a service-based business. It requires so much input and contribution from our client. We do most of the work, but there's key milestones, there's review, there's expectations that we place on our customers for contributing to the success of the project. If we add in a guarantee, then it kind of absolves them of accountability. So there has to be a shared accountability for delivering. Now, listen, if something goes wrong, like which it rarely does, but not never, it's in our best interest and contributes to our broader reputation to make sure that we make that right. So there's a business moral that we uphold, which we just won't put in a contract.
Fair enough. But would those business morals, focusing very much on this guarantee, but would those be things that you would discuss early on when you're talking about the offer? This is what I bring to the party. This is what we bring to the party. Sorry, and this is how you know that you can trust us. Are you sharing perhaps a success story to show that there's been success in the past, and this is the process that we took, and that's why it's successful, and we know it's successful, and here's the evidence of that, rather than being on the guarantee side? You're more about showing
showing
that it is good.
and testimonials and
Okay.
references and things
Got
like
you.
that. For sure.
Very good.
Awesome. This was fun. This was a good one. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that chat.
No, thank you, Scott. I've got some good takeaways there myself as well.
So I guess, do you want to summarize? Want me to sort of tie a bow around what we just talked about?
We can do. Yes, put me on the hot spot again. Yes. So build your offer. Make sure it's in my opinion, really, really focused on what is it, who is it for, what does it do for them, and adding in yours there, Scott, is how do you do that? If it's relevant for your business, then definitely include that. Service-based business sounds logical, absolutely, to have that in there. So I think hopefully everyone taking away from this, no matter what position you're working in, this is an important process to go through before going out to the market, and it will empower your sales team to be incredibly successful.
You passed the pop quiz. Well done. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again on an episode of Tea and Timbits. If you want to get in touch, find out more, send us your thoughts, suggest an episode, or give us a hard time, you can do all of that at teaandtimbits.com. See you on the next episode, Andy.
Thanks very much, Scott. Bye-bye.